For months, the void around Falling Frontier felt strange. Too quiet. No trailers, no updates, no hype, just a slow, eerie drift from the studio that kept everyone guessing whether the most ambitious RTS in years was quietly slipping away. But now we know the truth. It wasn't dying, it was transforming. The latest devlog just cracked open the hull and exposed what's been happening underneath. And trust me, it's bigger than anyone expected. Systems are fusing together. Entire mechanics have been rebuilt. Planets aren't textures anymore, they're worlds. Combat isn't visual flair, it's physics finally unleashed. And if you've been watching this project from afar, this is the moment where the whole picture finally snaps into focus. This is Pulse Gaming, where we break down the biggest stories in gaming with zero filler and maximum clarity. If you love deep dive updates, high-level hype, and staying ahead of the curve while everyone else is still guessing, tap subscribe right now, because this is the kind of video you don't want to miss. Now buckle up, because Falling Frontier hasn't just woken up, it's powering up. Section 1. Combat just evolved into a monster. Let's start with the part that made my jaw hit the desk. Combat has been rebuilt from the ground up. Not tweaked, not polished, rebuilt. The game moved from a loose arcade-style combat system to something that feels like a simulation of space warfare, where every bullet, every explosion, every shattered deck plate comes from actual physics calculations. Ships now fire thousands of rounds per minute, with every impact spraying debris in unique patterns based on where the final shot lands. It's not pre-scripted. It's not canned. Each encounter is literally handcrafted by physics. Explosions collapse hulls from the inside. Internal decks are exposed as ships rip open. Medium stations can be torn apart like a steel garden. Debris scattering according to real force vectors. Zoom in or zoom out. The system stays stable because it's driven by volumetric effects woven into animated sprite sheets. The devs didn't just polish combat, they weaponized it. And all I could think was, this is the future of RTS battles. But combat is just the first detonation. Section 2. Planets are no longer backdrops. This update wasn't just about blowing things up, it's about the worlds you're fighting over. Planets in Fallen Frontier have quietly evolved from flat sphere textures to full 3D terrains with ridges, craters, valleys, mountain chains, ravines, and shadowed basins. And this isn't concept art anymore. This is in-engine, playable. Part of the scenario creator, launching with early access. Terrain will shape radar lines, base placement, ambush routes, stealth, sight lines, approach vectors. This is the first time an RTS in space has made the terrain matter like a ground strategy game. It's a hybrid that shouldn't work, yet somehow it does. The gas clouds got a huge overhaul too. Mesh-driven volumetric systems now give them natural curves, broken edges, thickness variations, and full color customization, so factions can instantly transform their aesthetic. Orange Titan strips? Now you can make them black, pink, neon red, whatever fits your identity. Even pirate fleets now have their own chaotic hull variations. It's the most stylish void weather system I've ever seen. But visuals are only the beginning of the bigger shift. Section 3. Logistics just became a high-stakes gamble. The devlog didn't dump a brand new logistics tree, it did something smarter. It tied the lore directly into the gameplay loop. We finally know what powers the Europa jump drive, Helium-3. This tiny reveal changes everything, because if jump travel and fleet mobility depend on fuel refined across the stars, you don't just have supply lines, you have targets. Long-range missions instantly become high-risk. Refueling during combat is basically a pray you don't get sniped mid-pump decision, and fleets will need a functioning network just to stay alive. This is no longer background noise. Logistics is part of the universe's fiction, and one of the biggest strategic pressure points in the entire game. And the fact they're now openly linking lore, mechanics, means one thing: the systems are converging. Section 4. The art style has finally locked in. The visual identity of Falling Frontier has matured, and for the first time, It looks like a finished universe instead of a prototype. Every ship now follows a unified, grounded design language. White functional highlights, sensor arrays, maintenance points, modular plating, orange tactical markers, specialized launch bays. It's cohesive, readable, smart. Even better, ships don't just look polished. They react to the world. Scorch marks build over time. Radiators glow red under stress. Hulls weather during combat. Decks flare as shots tear through internal corridors. And somehow, all this detail is still performance-friendly. This isn't particle spam. This is mechanical storytelling. But the most emotional transformation of all? The sound. Section 5. The music just grew a soul. Scott Buckley's new composition, M of Mars, is a perfect blend of industrial machinery, moody ambience, cinematic dread, slow-burning tension. It feels like a mix between Blade Runner and a dying star, heavy, melancholic, human. The soundtrack isn't just background audio. It's setting the emotional tone for a universe waking back up, and that leads to the biggest shift of all. Section 6. This devlog is the turning point. For years, the only updates we saw were quick hints from the Discord or tiny technical teases buried in random posts. This devlog is different. This devlog is a statement. For the first time in a long time, the team said, "Here's where we actually are. Here's what we rebuilt. Here's what we fixed. Here's what we're preparing for." And reading between the lines, the modular phase is over. The integration phase has begun. Logistics, AI, physics, art, terrain, music. All the pieces that existed independently are finally becoming one organism. That means only one thing. Early access is next, and 2026 isn't a delay, it's the runway. But with momentum comes pressure. Section 7. Strengths versus concerns. The strengths. Combat is deeper, heavier, and more physical than ever. Planet tech is a generational leap for the RTS genre. Art direction finally feels polished and unified. Music elevates the entire tone of the universe. Systems aren't expanding, they're tightening. This is the maturity phase of development. The concerns. Momentum is fragile. Silence kills hype. Community trust has been stretched thin. We still haven't seen the logistics loop in full flow. Campaign pacing and AI behavior remain mysteries. Ambition is sky high. Execution has to match. One wrong move, and this could slide from future classic to beautiful prototype. Which is why the next reveals are absolutely critical. Section 8. What comes next will decide everything. There are 3 milestones now hovering on the horizon. The scenario creator, the lifeblood of replayability and community content. The public demo, the first real proof of how these systems feel together. AI plus logistics interaction, the core of the strategy loop. If these work, Falling Frontier becomes legendary. If not, well, we'll see. This next phase won't just show us progress. It'll reveal the actual identity of the game. And from everything we've seen so far, the void is lighting up again. So, after years of quiet development, uncertain delays, and whispers in the dark, Falling Frontier finally feels like it's stepping into the version it was always meant to become. Not rushed, not cobbled together, not hyped into oblivion, but calm, steady, deliberate. The 2026 shift isn't a retreat, it's preparation. The systems aren't being built anymore, they're being fused. The identity isn't vague, it's sharpened. This is the moment the project stops feeling like a dream and starts feeling inevitable. If you want to follow every twist, reveal, delay, and breakthrough on the road to release, hit subscribe, drop a like, and join the Pulse Gaming crew as we track this game all the way to early access and beyond. Because the void isn't empty anymore. Something's coming, and it has a name, Falling Frontier. See you in the next one.